ASMR Magical Tools. Hello, Scorpio. Hello. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me today for your Sun, Moon, and Rising May 2021 Tarot Forecast. So, first, I'm going to be pulling a card from this Flower Magic Oracle deck. I really love this deck so far. I love using it. It has a very late 90s aesthetic to it, which really resonates with me. Alright, Scorpio. So the card that I have drawn for you out of this deck is Hypericum, which is about rejuvenation. Okay, here we go. Hypericum. This life can seem so very hard. Events can leave us bruised and scarred. But now is the time to see the light. Pick yourself up. The end's in sight. Inject new life. Sense the hope. Know that soon again you will cope. Hypericum's message is, if things have been a bit difficult lately, this card indicates light at the end of the tunnel. You'll get there and things will get better. This card is a pick-me-up, a little ray of sunshine. No matter what you have been through and no matter how much you think it will continue, the hardship will burn itself out very soon. So hang in there. The universe is sending you some positive energy to bring about balance and put a smile on your face. You have been through the mill and life has dealt you some really hard issues to deal with, but you've hit every single one of them out of the park and carried on regardless. Go you. Life teaches us lessons, and we can learn from each and every one of them, or at least hopefully take some morsel of inspiration or insight away from them. So I'm going to, and I have some Scorpio friends who could really hear this right now. I'm going to put it over here near my lion, and we'll move on to the next part of the reading, which is going to be the Celtic Cross part of the spread. And I will be using the Ethereal Visions Illuminated Tarot deck for this portion of the reading. For those of you who love Matt Hughes' artwork as much as I do on these beautiful cards, he does have two other decks, which the Dreamscape Oracle is already out and available now, and then the Luna Tarot is coming out later this year. This is not a sponsored message, but I thought you guys might like to know. Alright, so Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the month of May in the year of 2021. these cards. All right, Scorpio, Scorpio, Scorpio. So, your current situation, past, present, future, goal or destiny, the current situation as you perceive it. Sorry. The current situation as an outside influence perceives it. Your hopes and fears. And finally, the final outcome. The final outcome. So, Scorpio, I've been starting in the past for the May readings this month. And in your past, we have the Four of Cups. So it looks like there have been some options that you have had open to you for some time now. This card being upright implies that these options are probably still open to you at this time. Let's look at the current situation. And we have here in the current situation the Two of Cups, Two of Cups, Two of Hearts, two hearts that beat as one, Two of Hearts, I need you, I need you. So there could definitely be a romance that is blossoming for you right now. Let's find out more about that. Oh, very interesting. So we have the Temperance card coming out for that as well. And the Temperance card does imply a sense of balance, emotional balance also. Now, because the Temperance card is here, there could be a mastery, kind of like relationship mastery, so that like you've been practicing for this relationship for a long time and you're finally at a place where you can truly be the best partner to another person that you are striving to be. We're going to look now at the current situation. This is your perspective, and this is an outsider's perspective. So, your perspective on the current situation. We have the Queen of Cups. This definitely could be you, Scorpio. Cups is water sign energy, and the Queen of Cups is somebody who is not only a master of their emotions, but is very nurturing to others. Queen of Cups is a very passive kind of an energy, whereas the King of Cups is an active kind of an energy. So you don't have to be feminine to be this Queen of Cups energy. Let's look over here at what outside influences see. So, they see the Five of Pentacles in the reverse. It looks like everyone around you can tell that you've been through kind of a rough time, but that is passing now, that the things in the past, which were causing problems in your life, are kind of dissipating during this time. Let's look at the current situation. Here we have the Eight of Swords. So you could be feeling at this time like you are kind of trapped. But that's not necessarily the case. Now, because remember, you still have these options open to you. this is going to be part of the Imam Sili, which is down here at the nadir of the astrological wheel and the nadir of our 12 houses spread. The important thing about the Imam Sili is that it is all of these situations that will set up for your goal or destiny up here in the midheaven, in the future, the future, the future. So let's look at your hopes and fears now, because that is the environment in which the future will be taking place. And we have the Nine of Swords here. And the Nine of Swords is about your fears, your nightmares, and it is in the reverse. So all of your nightmares could be passing at this time. But you definitely want to make sure that you are not operating in the future in an environment of fear. You want to be able to come from a place of openness to possibility. Openness to possibility. Let's look at your future card. Now we have the King of Swords coming out. The King of Swords in the reverse. This could be somebody who rules by excessive force. Because it's in the reverse, but because it's in the future, it could just be that this King of Swords energy is going to be a highly logical and powerful position, which you will be occupying in the future. I find it very difficult to believe that somebody could go from being the Queen of Cups in the upright to being the King of Swords in the reverse. But Scorpios can be very harsh to others when slighted, so I suppose anything is possible. And I speak from the experience of having a Scorpio moon placement, so and I do have a lot of Scorpios in my life that I love very much, so it's definitely not something that I say out of malice. Alright, so let's look at this midheaven position now. So your midheaven, again, like I said when I was talking about the Imam Sili, this situation down here, feeling trapped in the Eight of Swords energy, is going to set up for what we see here in the midheaven position. This is your goal or destiny. And we have the Two of Pentacles here. Now it's coming out in the reverse, but as I mentioned with the King of Swords, the card could be in the reverse because you are not yet able to see that situation unfolding for you. So it could be that balance is entering your life soon. It can also be that your life will always lack balance. So if you are operating from this place of fear, rather than this Two of Cups and Temperance energy, if you're always operating from feeling like you're going to be stuck and operating from a place of fear, then it's very difficult to maintain balance in your life. But we will keep going and we will see what comes next. The final outcome card. So this will be the final outcome for this portion of the reading, and then we will do a 12 houses spread using the Lenormand cards. And for your final outcome here, we have the Page of Swords in the reverse. Remember, we have the King of Swords in the future, and we have the Page of Swords in the final outcome position. So, it could be that you become less serious over time. It's kind of like aging in reverse. as far as your logic and communication are concerned. So this could represent a dynamic in your life where everything has seemed very serious up until this point, and you finally reach a point in your life in the near future with this King of Swords where you start to realize that things really aren't that serious after all. Really not that serious. So next, we are going to use the Lenormand cards. And these are the cards that I designed. You can see what they look like on the back. So there's a link to my Etsy shop in the description if you like these cards and you're interested in purchasing some of them for yourself. We will look at the first house, which is self and beginnings. Self and beginnings. And remember, this is over here by the Four of Cups, so that can represent a situation where you had a lot of different options open to you. And in that first house, we have the anchor. So it looks like yourself and your beginnings are coming from a place of being very solid, very anchored. Let's look at the second house. The second house is your finances and your stability in life. And remember that we have that over here by the Queen of Cups, which could very well represent you, Scorpio, in the current situation. And we have the Cross. So your finances or your stability or lack thereof might be a burden to you at this time. It might be that most of what is going on in your life is just fine, but it could be that there are things about your stability. Because remember, this beginning is in a very stable place. There could be things about that are very rigid and therefore can be kind of burdensome. We're looking at the third house now. So the third house has to do with family members who are very close to you, like siblings, could even be cousins. We're also looking at communication, short distance travel, and your immediate surroundings. So like your neighborhood could be part of this too. And we're down here in the territory of the Imam Seelai, so we're also going to be looking at this Eight of Swords in relation to these next two houses. And the card you get for the third house is the Tower. Now, the Tower can represent a corporation, or it can represent the government. So you might be getting communication from your local government or a local corporation, or you could have a sibling that needs more control in their life, or there could be a corporation that is moving into your neighborhood. I know like Google and Amazon are often very disruptive to have move in near you and can change the infrastructure of your area drastically. So the fourth house has to do with home and family. Home and family. And we have the fish coming out. So as far as your home and your family life is concerned, the fish is money. So you have enough money to take care of these situations. But if you're looking at this all together, you might really love the place that you live, but then a corporation ends up doing something that would make you feel trapped. Now you're going to have enough money to take care of it, but that is still, like nobody likes to have to move, or to feel hemmed in by certain situations. Now the 5th house is creativity, romance, and childhood. So this could be your childhood, or it could be a child who you look after, or your very own child. And remember, creative endeavors are your children too. I guess maybe pets might also fall into this house, but I haven't ever read it that way. It only occurred to me recently that that people might be looking into different methods of fortune telling for information about situations with pets. I haven't had particularly good situations with pets, and so I don't have a pet right now, and I don't intend to get one anytime soon. We do have the 5 of Pentacles here, and it is in the reverse, and I think this indicates that from the outside people are seeing that some of these bad situations in your life are dissipating. So in your 5th house we have the lily, and the lily can have to do with innocence and purity, but it can also be an indicator of an elderly person. So this could be about you being someone's child and taking care of an elderly person. It could also be having a creative partner who is older, or a romantic partner who is older coming into your life, and can also be an indicator of like innocence and purity regarding creativity or romance. Also, so probably I will find out more about that when we look at the 11th house, because that has to do with social groups and novel ideas and is in direct opposition to your 5th house here. Now, the 1st house and the 5th house are trine to each other. So we had the anchor here in the 1st house, which is something very established that can also indicate that it's something that is developed over a long period of time. So there might be an older person tied up in that, although it doesn't necessarily mean longevity. The anchor doesn't necessarily mean longevity, but the lily can mean longevity. It can mean fragility too. So there could be fragility in your relationship with your parents, or fragility in your relationship to your child, or fragility in a romance. But I'm not seeing indicators for fragility in romance here, because we had the 2 of Cups coming out with the Temperance card. So whatever romantic situation you're in right now looks like it's pretty stable. Let's look at the 6th house, which is the house of daily routines and health. And we have the Sun, which is excellent. This is an excellent indicator not only of good health, but of good routines in your life. And we're getting up into this part of the reading where we're going to be looking at the future also. So the 7th house has to do with your partnerships, and can also have to do with open enemies and court cases. It is in direct opposition to your 1st house of self and beginnings. So this is all things that have to do with other people, Scorpio. And we have the clover coming out. So there could be luck for you in a court case, or luck in a relationship. This is the kind of fast luck. It's kind of like dumb luck. Not luck that occurred because you did anything special, but luck that occurred because everything fell into place at the right time. And that is here with that Nine of Swords and the King of Swords. So, just remember that luck comes into play a lot too, and that might be part of your, your de-evolution from the King of Swords into this Page of Swords reversed energy. Realizing that luck has way more to do with a lot of these things than anything else, and kind of relinquishing that control, relinquishing control over a lot of your surroundings. So the 8th house is in direct opposition to the 2nd house of finance and stability, and is therefore about other people's finances and about transitions. Death, sex, and taxes all fall into the 8th house. And Scorpio rules the 8th house. But if you are a Scorpio rising, Scorpio is going to be in your 1st house. So, looking at the 8th house energy here, and I do have a jumper, we have the house. So, this could be somebody else's house. You could be trying to buy someone else's house, or this could be like your parents' house, or another house. It could represent a transition for you, like maybe you were living in a house and now you're moving into an apartment, or maybe you were living in an apartment and now you're moving into a house. That there will be some kind of transition there for you between living spaces. Or that you could inherit a house, because of course the 8th house has to do with inheritances. The 9th house is, we're moving into the territory of the midheaven now, and the 9th house has to do with things that elevate your being. So this is like higher education. This can be long distance travel. It can have to do with your spirituality. And it's all of the things that you do to try to raise your vibration. Alright, so the 9th house card you get is the Fox. Being clever to elevate the self. That is a great idea for you, Scorpio. Great idea. And remember, we have this 2 of Pentacles up here. Being clever to bring balance into your life. Using your wits to bring balance into your life. So I'm definitely like perceiving some alchemical processes where we've got like the de-evolution from the King of Swords down to the Page of Swords, like kind of getting less mature as far as your logic is concerned. And to me, this Fox coming up in your 9th house is definitely aligned with that, Scorpio. So this can also be gig type work. So if you are in academia, for example, or if you are in higher education, it might be a situation where you go and teach a semester at one place and teach a semester somewhere else, and or have a few different schools that you are teaching at concurrently, so that if you live in a city that has multiple colleges, maybe you are teaching at a few of those colleges at the same time. That would be possible. That would be possible too. Or a traveling preacher, traveling and proselytizing. That would also make a lot of sense. But finding a balance in that. So the next house is your 10th house, and that has to do with career. And remember, we're looking at these cards up here also in contrast to these cards down here, which are the current situation that will be establishing the conditions for this future situation. And in the 10th house, we have the bear, and the bear represents a very powerful person. So what's interesting here is that we have the balance between power and ingenuity, and that is what you are balancing here in the future, Scorpio, and why you will not continue to feel trapped, nor will you be owned by fear. So the 11th house has to do with iconoclasts. It has to do with novel ideas and concepts, and also has to do with your social groups, and again, that can also be social media. Has to do with like environmental groups as well. So like when I say environmental, I don't mean like the EPA. I mean like the people that are part of your neighborhood. So this is that energy. But then this is also that energy of like civic groups, I guess would be a better way of saying it. So if you're part of a community action team of any kind, or like your group of your work pod, or you know, like the group of people that you are working with, and how you all interact with each other is part of the 11th house too. And we have the tree there. So you've been establishing that for a very long time. You could have been establishing yourself as an iconoclast for a very long time. And I think it's very interesting here how we have the juxtaposition of this very young energy of the Page of Swords and fresh new ideas, and also the idea of the tree, which is something that has been coming on for a very long time. And keep in mind too that we have sextile to the tree, the anchor here in the first house. The anchor in the first house. So finally we come back around to the 12th house. And the 12th house, I already have a card for that. It looks like is your psychic intuition, and also has to do with endings. So we're going to be looking at the anchor and the Four of Cups, and then this ending all together also. And we have the dog. The dog is about loyalty. And so this could be you being loyal to others, but it could also be loyalty of others coming back to help you in the current situation, Scorpio. Scorpio, thank you for joining me for your reading today. If you enjoyed it, please leave me comments down below. I will leave a link in the description in case you would like to submit questions for my future Q&A videos that allows you to do it anonymously. Anonymously. Have a great evening, week, month, Scorpio, and I look forward to seeing you again very, very soon.